Well, in order to be an occupational therapist, you have to have toys and things to help kids have fun so that they can learn those really difficult skills. And things need to be fun and playful. So I had kind of amassed this major collection of toys. And it was before I even became a mom. And so my husband was starting to get into like social media and came home one day and was like, I got an idea. He's like, we're going to put you on YouTube. And he's like, you have all these great ideas about what you can do with toys, and people are always coming to you for toy recommendations. And so back in 2009, we started a YouTube channel, which was me doing developmental toy reviews. And so then I kind of ended up in the toy space where I was writing as a freelancer for companies about the top 10 best dollhouses or action figures or toys that went along with a movie, and really ended up as kind of an influencer in the media space.
Welcome to the Who You Know show, where what you know is important, but who you know can make all the difference in your business, career, relationships, and your life. We're here at Video Marketing World 2022, and this episode is brought to you by Real News PR. They're going to make you look like $1,000,000, and I'm excited because I got someone else that looks like $1,000,000. I've got Keri Wilmot in the house. She is a pediatric occupational therapist turned toy expert and author. If I can get a warm welcome for Keri Wilmot.
Thanks.
How about that intro? You like that?
Yeah, sure.
Da, 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 Keri!
Thanks.
Well, we're excited to have you here, and I really want to hear about your journey because just your title alone, pediatric occupational therapist turned toy expert and author. So tell me about that. What is that? What's all that about?
So I have been a pediatric occupational therapist for over 20 years, working with kids in all different settings: school systems, outpatient hospitals, in their homes during doing home health care. And about 13 years ago, in order to be an occupational therapist, you have to have toys and things to help kids have fun so that they can learn those really difficult skills, right? And things need to be fun and playful. So I had kind of amassed this major collection of toys. And it was before I even became a mom. And so my husband was starting to get into like social media and came home one day and was like, I got an idea. He's like, we're going to put you on YouTube. And he's like, you have all these great ideas about what you can do with toys, and people are always coming to you for toy recommendations. And so back in 2009, we started a YouTube channel, which was me doing developmental toy reviews. And so then I kind of ended up in the toy space where I was writing as a freelancer for companies about the top 10 best dollhouses or action figures or toys that went along with a movie, and really ended up as kind of an influencer in the media space.
Oh my gosh, I'm over here with a toy influencer. Let's go, mic drop. That's so cool because I hear you can make a lot of, you know what I'm saying? Are you making a little bit of this? Are you getting a little bit of that action? Because kids on YouTube, boy, I tell you what, they love that stuff.
I wish, right? The funny part is I was in it so early on that like the unboxers and all that other stuff really came sort of after we had already been in the space for a long time. So I focused a little bit more kind of on the business side as like a play expert. So companies that really are trying to like look for information to help sell their toys or appeal to parents, and especially parents, caregivers kind of in that special needs space.
Okay.
You know, what helps kids pay attention, what helps kids get their energy out. So pulling in a lot of that like developmental educational expertise as it sort of relates to play.
So what's the hot toy for this Christmas?
Oh,
2023?
Everyone's looking for those magic mixes.
Yeah, I mean, because I remember when I was a kid, it was the Tickle Me Elmo. You know, that was the hot thing, boy. They were selling them things for hundreds of dollars on eBay and everything else because you couldn't get your hands on it. What's the hot ticket?
The magic mixies.
See, I didn't. When you said it, I don't even know what the heck that is. What's a magic mixie?
It's like this cauldron where it's like a transformational kind of toy where that's an experience that happens. Ask me another question.
Okay, it transforms, y'all. It transforms.
It's a secret. You have to watch it.
It's a transformer. Transformer. There you go. All right. Well, let me ask you this. So you started this when? When did you start
Back
this business?
in 2009.
2009. Okay. So, and you got right on to the video. You got right into the video.
Right into the video
YouTube.
before I even knew what the video was happening.
So you're like, I'm going to get on YouTube. So if I had to imagine, okay, and this is just me speaking out loud, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you're an early adopter.
Correct.
So, I mean, I would imagine your channel does very well.
Well, it has changed, and that's
Okay.
kind of the pitfall even for me in this whole experience is that being really far ahead of the game in something, that was way in the beginning when it was film a YouTube video, write a blog post, send out a tweet, and you were done. And then all of a sudden we have Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest, and when you're one person trying to kind of manage an entire space by yourself, it gets really overwhelming.
It's a lot.
And so that has been kind of the tricky part, is to try to figure out how to, even for me, with all that knowledge, sort of how to stay relevant and continue to have revenue at the same time.
That's so true. I mean, this whole social media game, YouTube and all this stuff, there's a reason why people hire media agencies, because it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot of work, and it takes a lot to get everything out there, and every platform's different, and then every platform changes.
Correct.
And trying to stay up on the trends and yada, yada, yada. Like, I'll give you an example. So with this show, I've always been very, very focused video first, right? Wanted to create a talk show. Now we do a live studio audience. A lot of really cool stuff. But it's always been video first. The audio, the podcast, I neglected it. I actually was like, whatever. The live streams were just getting put up. And I've been doing this since 2018, so I was technically an early adopter of this as well. And so, but the podcast didn't perform well, obviously, because we were just throwing it up there, just slapping it up. And then I'm just like, man, kicking myself in the butt now, because I'm like, dang, I should have paid more attention. And now I am, and now we're focusing, and now things are growing on the podcast side. So anyways, I get what you're saying. It's like the catch-22 of the early adopter side.
Yeah, and it's a constant, it's constant reinvention, right? How are you continuing to keep up, to learn all those algorithms, to change things as you need to change, and, to be relevant sort of in your space while you're living life. I mean, I still work as an occupational therapist to kind of make sure, at least at this point, that there's some continual cash flow coming in. But it's really about, for me, it was about just not really ever saying no.
Continuous cash flow.
It's about not, really not turning down opportunities, even when they felt uncomfortable. And how, I was asked to speak at a conference with a company that I was working with on play, was there at this conference in Austin, bumped into some woman who was actually an editor for a company where they needed an occupational therapist to write a book for teachers. And so I ended up doing that, so I think a lot of it for me has sort of been just not being afraid to try something new. I mean, my training as an occupational therapist didn't exactly teach me how to write blog posts. I've done television media segments. I do podcasts. I wasn't formally trained in any of that, and so really it's just about practicing and trying something new.
And just do it, right? Just get out there and get the message out there to the world. So I love that. I mean, that's amazing. And that's why you got started in 2009. Is because you just started. So many people here at this conference, the theme is like, just get started, right? And
or restarted,
and
that's for us. Like, that's what we're really trying to figure out is, I have this site, I have all this great content that's there. I've got a book, I've got all these pieces, right? So how do I best leverage all of those pieces moving forward so that I can continue to, just grow my brand and be in front of more people?
So what do you think has been your biggest takeaway? Right, that's what you're trying to get. I hear you. You're like, I got all these pieces. I want to try to. What's your big takeaway of this conference?
At this point, I definitely want to get into more podcasting.
Okay.
I think that having that expert view, connecting with people. I work a lot with families who have that are struggling and kids who are struggling, and a lot of my passion is, yes, did I learn how to share great toys, and do I know how to play with them? Yes, but at the end of the day, like, how can we help families just manage their day-to-day lives easier using play and fun, and really just helping all kids get to the next level.
I love that. Okay, so what's the best way for the audience to get connected with you? Where do we find Keri?
You can find me on Instagram at @Keri_Wilmot, WILMOT. I'm at Toy Queen on Facebook and YouTube, or you can send an email to Keri, KERI, @toyqueen.com.
Absolutely. Make sure you do that, and make sure you ask her what exactly that toy's all about. We want to know what that toy is. Guys, that's the show. It's all about who you know and a little bit of cash flow. Thanks for listening to the Who You Know Show podcast. My name is Trevor Houston, and if you've enjoyed this episode, consider subscribing wherever you listen and leave us a positive review to help us keep the mics on in the studio. Until next week, that's the show. It's all about who you know.